Hey guys, Kim here with Art Classes for Kids, and I'm joined with Lily, and we are going to show you how to do our first project, which is a watercolor landscape. This landscape is inspired by the artist Edward Hopper, and here's an example of his famous painting called Gloucester Beach, and he did that in the early 1920s. We have ours is going to be about this size in watercolor, and I'm going to teach you how to draw all the parts and how to use watercolor to get a lot of transparent looking colors. And now the beauty of getting a pre-recorded video is that what is the most awesome part of getting a pre-recorded video, Lily?
You can pause it at any time and you can take a break, or you can just pause it if we're going too fast for you.
Yeah, so you go at your own pace, and we're going to give you some options so that everybody's picture or painting doesn't look exactly alike. So to get started, let's make sure you have everything you need to do this first watercolor project. So take a look at your head camera view, and you can see all the supplies and a list of what you're going to need for this project. So gather up your supplies, and if you need a moment to get those together, what do?
You can pause the video.
Pause the video. And as soon as you have them, we'll get started. The first thing we're going to do is get our name on the name tag. So grab the name tag.
Name tag,
and a pencil,
and glue stick, and your cardboard backing, so that we can glue it to the cardboard backing.
So get our name, and if it's your first time joining us, you know, we think it's really important to write the date, and that's because we want you to know how old you were or when you did this painting when you look back at it in the future. So we're going to write our date. You can write it any way you want, with dashes or slashes or in words. And then this is going to be a horizontal, a wide painting. So let's put it the wide direction. You're going to just need a little bit of glue on the back of this label and stick it on, rub it, and you are done with that part. Right, Lily? Okay.
Yep.
Now you're going to take this cardboard backing and you're going to set it aside till the end. So just set that off to the side, and now you're going to need your watercolor paper.
Pause here.
And watercolors. We're going to share ours so that we have more space on the table.
Paper towel, and you'll need your paper plate for mixing colors.
Yes, if you want to mix colors.
Your water cup or jar, and
your paintbrushes.
Yes, your paintbrushes, and your watercolor paper.
Now, I'm going to move things around a little bit. Whoop. And this picture right here, I want you to take a really good look at it as we're working so that you can see what it is we're trying to create. Now, Edward Hopper was born in the late 1800s. He became a famous artist in probably like the 1915, 1920s, and he was an American, and he went to the east coast of the United States where he saw this beautiful beach, and he just decided to paint what he saw around him. He was from New York City, but he studied a lot in Europe and Paris, and then he kept coming back and doing his art in America, where he became famous. Now, what we're going to do is we need our pencil, because we are going to compose all the elements within our piece of paper, and that is going to be our composition. The first thing we're going to do is draw the horizon line. That is where the earth meets the sky, you know, and the earth could be, you know, land, or it could be water. So we're going to go all the way, and we're going to go halfway between the top and the bottom, halfway, and a little bit above that where I marked my finger. That's where we're going to make a line perfectly straight across from left to right. That is going to be our horizon line. Now, if you don't like where you put it the first time, you have the ability to pause and take your time, and maybe you want to change it. Maybe you want it a little lower. Maybe you want it a little higher. But the reason I'm telling you that is because you want to draw light in case you want to erase. I'll go ahead and take it a little lower. So, you know, you want to draw really light in the composition. Also, watercolors are transparent. What does that mean, Lily?
It means they come out like kind
like see-through. You can see right through them. So you'll be able to see the pencil marks later. So you want to keep them light, okay?
Kind of like glass.
Yeah, so now what we're going to do is draw where the edge of the sand is. It's going to be lower than the edge of the water, which was our horizon line. So go about 1 finger down or 1/4 of an inch on the left, but on the right, we're gonna go maybe 2 fingers down, which is about 1 inch. We're gonna have more space on the right than the left because the beach sand is kind of going downward. So we've got that. So you see it's bigger on one side than the other. Now, if you want to do it the other way around and have it big on one side and closer together on the other, that's an option that you can choose on your own. Okay, so first, these 2 steps are pretty easy. And you know what? I'm going to just say one thing now. I had a lot of parents that say, can a 5-year-old really make this stuff? And yes, they can.
Once we take it step by step and show you how to do each individual thing, it ends up being pretty simple.
Yeah, so hang in there with us. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to draw the people. Now the people are on the beach. They're a little different than the people on the beach today. Today you got people surfing, you've got girls in bikinis, you've got little babies running around. In the olden days, in the 1920s, people didn't try to get tan. They wanted to stay white, so they were covered up on the beach, and they had umbrellas and they had on like thin light jackets. So we're gonna do this old-fashioned scene. Now that's what we're gonna do. If you wanna put them in bikinis, that's your choice, but I'm gonna show you how to do this. Now it's really easy to draw these people. What you're gonna do is on the left, I'm gonna have 3 people together, and I'm going to make like the top of a triangle or the top of a roof and have a little space.
How far to the left?
Oh, I would say you could fit 3 fingers in between your people and the blue tape. And then you're gonna have 1, 2, and the triangle top isn't pointed, it's a little bit rounded. It goes just above that horizon line, that edge of the water. So I've got 3 of those, like that. And each one of those has a head, it's like an oval. So a little oval. So we're just breaking it down to really basic shapes because I know you can handle one shape at a time. Okay, now they wore hats, man, whatever they could wear to protect themselves from the sun. They didn't have like SPF 30, you know, they didn't have sunscreens then. So their sunscreen was clothing and hats, okay? So now to make a hat, it's really easy. All you're gonna do is put a line through the head and you have a brim, and later you'll paint in the top part of it. Now you can have somebody looking up or somebody looking down, and their brim kind of tilts down, or they could have a cap where it just goes in the front like that. So just keep it there. Now where the bodies went over the horizon line, I erased that. So that's like the top of the triangles. Now if you want to make it look like they have a sleeve showing or something, you can go like that, or you can put an arm out here, or you can just put nothing because you can see them from behind. Okay, so this one, whoops, I'm erasing and making crazy marks. Okay, so now I'm going to put that arm right here. I've got one in there. This one maybe has a bent elbow or something. I don't know. You don't have to do that. It's an option. Now we're gonna have one more right about in the middle. We're gonna have one more person, but they're not as high as the water, and they've got a head. So just remember how we made it before. That was a little crazy mark I made accidentally. Now I'm going to darken mine in so they show up really good on the camera.
And again, like about 3 fingers apart?
Yeah, about 3 fingers apart right here. So now we have one more person. They've got a little brim, tilts it up. Okay, now we're gonna put one person that's actually not over the hill of the sand, but kind of a little on the sand, so watch me. I'm gonna make a little mark like this in the sand, a little horizontal line, over towards the right. So this person's farther back, meaning it's closer to the viewer. Now when objects are closer to the viewer, how do they appear? Bigger or smaller? Bigger! So this, see the size of triangles you made there? You're gonna make one a little bigger than that right here.
Okay.
This is perspective. The closer objects are to you, the bigger they appear. The farther away they are to you, the smaller they appear. Also, on your two-dimensional piece of paper or canvas or whatever it's gonna be. If they're up higher, they're usually farther away. And now you're gonna put a head on that, but make sure that head's bigger than the other ones you already made. A little bit bigger. And then I erase the line that went through the body. And I give that one a hat. If I want, I put a little like sleeve on it or something. I could even put like a foot out or something. I don't know, or a knee or something. It's up to you. And now we've got all of our people, but we are going to add 2 beach chairs. Now the beach chairs are a little harder than the people, but I know you can do it. Now you know what a rectangle looks like, but we're gonna make a tilted rectangle, which is like a parallelogram, if you know what that is. If you're 5, you probably haven't learned that yet. But it's like 2 sides that match the top and bottom, and 2 sides that the long sides match each other, except it's gonna be not right angles, not...
Or kind of like a long diamond.
Yes, so watch how I do it. First I'm gonna draw really light, so go ahead and take a break and just watch me. So if I had a regular triangle right next to that person in the middle, and I have my beach chair taller than the line, a regular triangle would look like that. A rectangle would look like that. But I'm going to tilt it, so I'm going to make it go on an angle instead, like that. And then I'm going to erase my original rectangle. I'm doing that a second time because we need 2 chairs, and also because I want to repeat what I just did in case it was confusing. So we start out right next to this chair with a rectangle, like a stick of gum or something, standing up on the beach. And after you do that, you're going to add a diagonal, angling the same way as the first chair. Angle down and to the right, and then erase the original sides of that rectangle. So we've got 2 tilted rectangles. Once you get that, now, in the olden days, they had shade above their beach chairs. I don't know, they still make these chairs, I think. You ever seen these at the beach? Where they have like a little roof to them, a little canopy? Well now,
Maybe.
watch what I do now. Now we're gonna angle up and to the right on each one of the corners of the rectangles. So follow me, Lily. You're gonna go angle up and to the right and make it shorter than the other rectangle. And the same length on both. So you have 4 of those lines. 1, 2, 3, 4. And after you do that, you're gonna go straight across to close up that angled, now it's like an angled square, kind of like a diamond shape. And you can put like 3 lines in between, and don't make them straight and up and down. Match the angle that they are, like that. And that's the little canopy to this chair, except you're going to have it have a little support. Well, it's gonna look fine like this. I think mine are a little too tall. I'm gonna make mine lower. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna erase and try again. And I'm gonna angle from here. I just wanted mine a little shorter. I kind of overdid it. So now I'm adding those 3 lines again. And now I've got my chair. But now I need somebody sitting in the chair. But I don't see the whole person. I only am going to see like the right side of them. See, like if I buckle. Yes. So I'm going to see half. I'm going to have the head at the same level as this one. I'm going to see half a head, maybe a brim, and just part of that triangle body like that. And I do it again over here. Half of a head. Whoops, that's a little too big. Half of a head, and then part of the body, and a little hat. Okay, and now the next thing and the last thing we have to draw are the umbrellas. So we're gonna put that umbrella stem in the sand, starting right here between the 2 chairs, and put that up and stop when I get to the top of the canopies. Even if you have to stop if you bump into the other canopy. And now to make an umbrella, it's actually pretty easy. You're gonna make a frown curve right at the top of the stem, right here. And now you're gonna make 2 more frowns. 1 to the right and 1 to the left.
Oh.
That's the bottom edge of the umbrella.
Oh, okay, I made mine a bit too big.
It's all right. And now I put a dot about 1 finger higher than my stem. And now I'm gonna make a rainbow through that. So watch me, Lily. I'm gonna go whoosh like that. And now at each point, I'm gonna make a curve to that point and a curve to that point. And if you wanna have a little part of that stem sticking out of the top like that, you can.
Okay.
So you've done your first umbrella. Now, if you can see inside the umbrella, it's a little tougher, but you can make another 3 frowns underneath it, except you don't want to cross in front of your canopies. Now, I can show you on the other people too, so it seems a little easier, because they don't have the canopies in the way. So you don't have to show the inside of the umbrella unless you want to. Now we're gonna have one more umbrella. So my other umbrella is gonna be right here, tilted, and I'm going to do the same thing, but I don't see what's on the right because it's hidden behind the first umbrella. So follow me. I'm going to make a stem for my umbrella, then I'm going to make a frown curve. I'm going to make one to the left, but I'm not going to make one to the right. I'm going to go about 1 finger above the stem and make a little line, which is that little top part of your umbrella, right? Once you make that, underneath it is where the rainbow curve goes. So it's going to go from here and it's going to stop when it bumps into the other umbrella. So I go like this, like that. And then I make the 2 curves from these points. Now we've done the 2 hardest umbrellas because they were right next to, the big reclining chairs. So now we're gonna have 3 umbrellas for these 3 people. So I'm gonna put 1 stem here, 1 stem here, and 1 stem here. My umbrella stem. What is it? Umbrella, I call it a stem. Could be an umbrella.
Like an umbrella stand.
Stand, an umbrella stand. Okay, so we've got those now. Figure out the one that I'm gonna have in front is gonna be the one on the right. So now I start out and I make a full umbrella. I make the frown curve, frown curve, frown curve. 3 frown curves. 1 finger above the frown curves, I make a little dash up and down like that. And now make a rainbow curve all to touch the bottom of that dash and down. And now you need 2 more curves. So watch. You just curve it up to that point and curve it up to that point.
Okay.
Now, and then you just go ahead and you make 2 more, but you remember they're behind each other. If you're having a hard time with behind each other, then draw really light, and then do the same thing, except erase it where it went on top of this, like that, and then darken these in. And I'm gonna do 1 more. So right here I go frown, 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 finger, dash, whoops, rainbow curve, here, here, and then I darken in the ones that aren't overlapping and I erase the light ones that were overlapping, and I have 3 umbrellas here, 2 umbrellas here, and if you want to, you can make a half of an umbrella, like as if your scene continues on, because the artist Edward Hopper, he just cropped into a portion of the scene. Just like when you take a photograph, you don't see everything around what you see through the lens, do you? No, you might only have 1/2 umbrella. So if you want to have a half umbrella here, maybe you have 1 frown and this, and you have part of the underneath. I don't know. Just have part of an umbrella there if you want. Now you can have really rounded umbrellas or you can have super wide umbrellas. That's up to you. But now we're ready to paint. So go ahead and set your pencil down. Now you're gonna get your paintbrushes, and we are going to start with the sky. So we're gonna take blue.
So you wanna take your biggest brush.
Your biggest brush. You're gonna need your water jar, and you're going to get some blue paint, but you don't.
Oh, that's black.
Oh, that's black. Black's on the end. Blue is right next to green. So you put some blue on your palette right here, on your paper plate
You wanna
palette.
make sure it's really wet.
Yes. And once you get that, you're gonna take some water and add it to it. Okay, next what we're going to do is take our brush that just had a little bit of blue in it, and you're gonna get water, just water. You're gonna paint your sky left to right with just water to start. I know it sounds crazy, but this is how we're gonna get it to look like a realistic sky. Okay, you can even go through the umbrellas, I don't care.
To give different variations and colors of blue.
Yes.
So that it looks.
Now it looks blurrier if you get the paper wet on top. So I've got my paper wet on top. And Lily, you almost have yours all painted, all wet yet. Now I'm going to take some of this watered down blue I put in my paper plate palette. Can you say that 3 times fast?
Paper plate palette.
Paper plate palette, paper plate palette. Okay, and then you're gonna streak across it, left and right. You're gonna go whoosh. Don't go all the way to the bottom, but go like that. So see, I'm getting these lines in there, and that's the beginning of my sky. Okay, you want to work fast before that water dries. And don't fill it in. You want to have some lighter spots. That's why I say streaks, like a line and a line and a line. Now once you do that, once you get streaks all over, then you're going to take another scoop of blue, put it in your palette, add a little water. This time it's probably a little darker and you're going to add a few more streaks. And if you splattered on your painting like I just accidentally did, now, then just streak over it. Now, this blue's a little darker, so I don't want to go over my umbrellas with this blue. But make sure you go all the way to the tape, so it looks like the sky continues past the edges. Okay, so now I have the streaky sky. Now we're gonna let that rest for a minute. And what we're going to do next is we're going to make a sand color. And we're gonna paint the bottom with just water. Make sure your brush is rinsed out good. Now the bottom part, not the part below the second horizontal line, you're going to get this all wet. So now we've got our whole bottom wet. Now, how do we get a sand color? Well, we're gonna mix yellow
and orange.
Yep, and Lily had a good guess, orange, but we're gonna add one more color. We're gonna add a little bit of brown. Brown is right next to black.
Oh yeah, we have brown too.
Oh, too much brown, too much brown. So now I need more yellow and more orange, because I didn't need that much brown. And I get kind of this color right here. Now that I've got that, and I've got my mixture of a tiny, tiny bit of brown, and a little bit of yellow and a little bit of orange, and a lot of bit of water, I'm going to add some streaks into the sand, just like this. Now, once I get this going, I can tell, oh my gosh, are my streaks too dark? If they're too dark and they look like, you know, I don't know, they look like, you know, mountain dirt compared to sand on the beach, then get some water and rub them out and make it lighter. But you don't want it solid. You want to have some light spots and some dark spots. And work fast because you don't want that first layer of water to dry up on you. Now at the bottom of the sky, he's got the sky looking kind of white, but it almost looks like the same color as the sand. So I'm going to take this color I had here and put a little at the bottom of the sky. Just mixing a little in. Do you see what I mean? Ooh, that got a little funky streak on it. If you get a puddle of water on your sky, it'll make all that paint turn white. So then just rub it out. So now I've got the bottom of my sky, you see, looks like it's a big white cloud, but it looks like the color of the sand. Now, the sand is white on the East Coast, but the paper you see is white. The color next to it is the sand color. But if you didn't see this white next to it, you might think that looks white and the clouds look white. But when it's right next to white, you can tell that it's got some color to it, some tan color to it. And now if you want to add a little touch of color in here, you can, but it's got to be so subtle. So I could take some red, put it on my side tray, rinse my brush out, add it to the brown, and now I have this color. I could add a few streaks of that. But you don't have to do that. It has to be so light. So add a few streaks, or you could add purple, which is next to blue, that color, to add it to the brown. And see if you get some streaks here. Ooh, that's a little bright. So then I add a little water. So when I'm adding color, it's just showing the reflection of things around there that reflect onto the sand. And you can see here, he's got like little shadows because those are the footprints in the sand. So if you want to have little footprints in the sand, you take that color and you make some little dashes. Maybe there's a trail of footprints to get down to the beach. I don't know. Okay, so I have that. Now the person that's sitting on the beach has little shadows around them because they're in the sand. So you can just add a little shadow over there. See how I did that? Oh, this is getting to be a puddle. So you can add some shadows over there. If you want. It's an option. Remember, these are advanced options. And next, we're going to get ready to use our smallest brush and the blue right out of the tray because we are going to be painting the water. So the water is this area in between the sky and the sand. Now you don't want to paint it up and down because water ripples kind of off to the side. So you can just go side to side. Now you want to make sure that you don't cover up your people. You can go over that line that's the brim of the hat because you'll remember where that is later, or if you have it light enough, you'll be able to see through. Sometimes I get a really dark thing and I add a little water and move it around. I want to get this water kind of dark blue.
Oh, so that doesn't blend in too much with the
sky. Yeah. But you know, that's up to you. You decide how blue you want how intense blue you want your blue water. Whoops. Now this might happen to you. You might get some watercolor that starts running into an area you don't want it in. Like right here, it's going into the beach. So you just take and rip a little piece of this paper towel and you press it down and just soaks it up, just like that. Alrighty. Now continue painting in your water. Try not to go over the people or their clothes. Now I got a little on my person, so I'm going to wash it off and blot it. Then I kind of over blotted it and I took away some of my blue water, so I go back and fix that or adjust that. All right, so I've got my blue water, I've got my sky, and I've got my beach, and now you can paint the people's clothes. They can be any color you want, but if you want to add shading in your advanced, then you're gonna have a shaded side, a darker side. So we're gonna use our smaller brush. I suggest if you're gonna do any light colors, do those first, because then your water doesn't get really dirty. So I wanna have at least one person in yellow clothing. So I want my right side to be the sunshine side, so I'm going to leave it a little bit white right there. And I'm going to have a hat, and their skin color, or their hair, maybe their hair is going to be brown. So I'm going to have like brown hair like that. And I've painted one person, just like that. So I'll go to another one. Oh, I haven't used green yet. I think I want to use green. So I grabbed some green, and first I paint it all kind of light. Do the hat matching, and then I decide I want to have it shaded on the left because the sun's on the right, so I add a little blue to the green and I make a blue-green, and there I have that person's clothing, but I have it on the right lighter because I want it to look like sunshine's on their clothes. Okay, even though they are in the shade from the umbrella, their clothes might be sticking out. Now I just blotted that one. I overdid that one. I can always adjust.
you want to do this with your smallest brush again.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and color in all your people the colors of your choices. Oh, a purple
And you
one.
can even mix colors if you want.
Yeah. So I made mine purple, but I made the whole thing dark purple. So I'm going with water and I rub off the paint on the right to make that side look lighter. And I'm going to do a red one. So my red one starts there. It's pretty dark. So I rinse out my brush. Just use water, fade it over to the other side. And I'll give that one a hat. Give the purple one, you don't have to have matching hats. That's up to you. Like I'll have this one have a brown hat. I'm sure brown hats are popular then. You can do the brim dark. And then you want to do the hair. You can make it tan, like how we had the tan sand before. Hair, hair, hair.
Oh, sorry.
And don't forget the two people in the reclining chairs. They need to get some color too. So I'm just gonna make this one green. And the other one I'll make orange. I haven't used orange in the clothing. Oh, I forgot part of my water right here. So I've got 4 people colored in. Now I'm gonna do my big person. I think I'm gonna do my big person reddish purple. So I'm taking red, I'm taking purple, mix them together, rub it on the left, and I'm on the right, I'm gonna leave it kind of white. Woo! Got a little carried away over there. Now just using water on the right side. But it looks all the same color, so I'm gonna blot it a little on the right side. Fade it out and do a red hat. That person does not have an umbrella because they just didn't feel like carrying one down as they drudged through the sand, I guess. I don't know. So now you've got all your people. I'm gonna have this person have long hair. Okay, you have all your people, you have all your clothing. Let's do the chairs. So the chairs can be any color you want. Here in his famous painting, the chairs were brown and they were green and white striped on top. You can do that or you can pick another color. So I'm gonna do the brown, I like the brown. It's a little dark, so I'm gonna add water in my paper plate and I'm going to do the bottom brown. Okay, and now the top part I'm just gonna do brown stripes. So I'm gonna go over all my pencil marks with my skinny paintbrush. Whoops, that one I kind of blended those together. Just do the best you can when it comes to these skinny stripes. Okay, how's it going, Lily?
Great.
And now, all that's left now are the umbrellas. You can paint them any color you want. Now, in Edward Hopper's painting, he has like a tan and gray umbrella. He's got a red and orange. You could have different colors in each section. It's up to you. But if you show the inside, make sure it's darker than the outside of the umbrella because the outside has a lot of sunshine on it, so it's gonna be lighter. So let's see, I'm going to do a yellow umbrella somewhere and I'm going to go and make it dark yellow here. and watery yellow here. Maybe even yellowy orange on this part. Cool, now I'm going to do the next watercolor. Okay, this one's going to be orange and red. That doesn't look that orangey. I'm going to add some yellow to it. And next to it, I'm going to add a little extra red to the red. Okay, so I just keep going. Okay, I'm going to have a blue umbrella. Whoops, some of mine is bleeding into my yellow. So just wipe it. Okay, I've got 2.5 umbrellas left. I think I'll do a purple umbrella under my umbrella. Here we go, over here. That one's going to be blue and purple. Alrighty, and this one's going to be yellow and light green, I think. So I've got 5 umbrellas. I've got my half umbrella on this side. And on the inside of my orange umbrella, I'm going to make it appear red, so it looks like it's darker. Okay, so now I've got my whole scene, and I'm taking a look at it. Ooh, I had a water spot, and when I rubbed it, it left that spot. So I might take a little bit of blue, oh, I still have some blue here, and my bigger brush, and add a few more last-minute streaks to the sky, because they'll come out brighter now that I've let it dry. So I'm going to add some water to these. And I'm looking pretty good. And in the sand, I still want to add a few more of those little footprint looking things. So I'm going to take some orange and well, maybe some brown. And I'm going to add some little dashes in here so it looks like little footprints. Now I just need to let it dry. So while I'm letting it dry, let's see how Lily's is going. Hers is going pretty good, but I'm going to teach you how to wrap. I'm going to wipe these streaks out a little so it dries quicker. And I'm going to... Now, if you want yours to dry quick, you could always blow dry it at home. Or maybe you live in a really warm climate and if you stick it outside for 2 minutes, it's dry. And once it is dry, what I'm going to do is show you how I mount it and wrap it. And I'm going to let Lily take as much time as she needs. So the first thing we do is make sure it's nice and dry. Let me just streak that a little more, streak that. Okay, to make sure this is nice and dry, look, I don't see any shiny spots. I'm going to pull the tape off. This is painter's tape. It's not very sticky. So pull it slow and pull it away. Rather than this way, pull it way out. And just, you get these little ringlets of tape. I just set them off to the side. And now I've got my second one. My third one. Now, I actually keep these little ringlets, or at least one of them, and I'll tell you why. Then I already have my tape loop ready to go.
Pause here.
I take my backing board and I set it down on the table. These are already curling and I rip them after I curl them and I make a tape loop. So I've got 1, 2. In the corners, I put these, and this is what's gonna hold my painting, my watercolor painting, to the board. So I've got one in each corner. Let's move that one up. Flatten it out a little. Now I take this, I still have an eraser mark on it, and I make sure it's nice and dry, and I match it up with my board and press it down. Now don't touch any of the wet paint. If there's still some wet paint, just let it dry. But this is pretty dry and mine looks like this. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to wrap it in cellophane. If it's your first time, watch closely. If you've done this with me many, many times, you can skip this part and put more time into your painting. So you get a roll of cellophane and you make sure your surface area is pretty clean. Like move the eraser crumbs or anything that's in the way. Then you open up your piece. Okay, so make sure this is nice and clean. You're gonna take your art and you're gonna flip it upside down and center it on the cellophane. Then you're gonna need your tape. With your tape, you're gonna whip it to rip it. If you just go down like this, it takes a long time, but if you go on an angle, it works right away. You go to the long sides, you push it, you tape it down, and you go to the opposite side and you pull it tight and you tape it down. Then you go to the short sides, tape it down, and you go to the other short side and you tape it down. Now you go to the corners and you're gonna roll it and fold it so that it doesn't show from the front and tape it down. I'm making it look easy. After you've done it a few times, you get the hang of it. If you're only 5, what should they do?
You can get a parent's help with the step.
Yeah, with wrapping, if you'd rather, but a lot of 5-year-olds can do this. But some kids are like, ooh, I'm not so good at gift wrapping. I don't know if I'm gonna be great at this. But if you do this a lot, you'll get great at gift wrapping. Okay, so we've got that, and we've got our last one. Lily's gonna pull her tape off. Put a little extra tape there. And now we're gonna both reveal our art. You ready, Lily?
Yep.
Okay, here we go. Woo! Ta-da! So you can see ours look a little different. We made some different color choices, but all in all, we made this simple beach scene that was, inspired by the 1920s and the American artist, Edward Hopper. I hope you enjoyed making this painting. So until we see you on our next project, what should they do, Lily?
Keep making cool art.